And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the GreyBoys podcast. I'm Mac Daddy Gene, and I'm here with
Super Common Will,
and we're here to talk about season 7 of Rwby. Passive.
Thank you, Lachine. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take over from here. We tried something new. It took like 30 minutes to prepare because you kept messing it up.
Yeah, hosting's not my thing, so I'll leave it to the professionals.
So we are here to talk about something that I don't think we've ever talked about on the podcast, but a show that we've been watching for many years now. I think I've been watching since season 2. Did you start season 1?
I don't know if I'm not sure if I started on season 1. I think it was something that you started watching, you told me about, and then I started watching.
No, I started watching. I was a big Red vs. Blue fan, and then we went to the New York Comic Con the year season 2 came out. And I remember I was devastated. You're like, oh man, I'm going to see the people who made Red vs. Blue. And I got there, and I was like, they're promoting something called Rwby. What is this? And then you were the one who was like, told me all about the show.
Oh. Because it's weird for me to say that because Rooster Teeth, I know they were established. I mean, they really got big because of the whole Red vs. Blue thing.
Yeah.
But I never watched Red vs. Blue until season, 10? What are they on now?
You came on late. Now they're on 15 or 16 or something.
Yeah, I came on when they were on season 10, and the only reason I started watching Red vs. Blue is because they were on Netflix. But I don't know exactly when I started watching Rwby. I think maybe I told you about it because I saw things online about it, but I was just I wasn't really feeling to be watching every week.
I don't think I watched season 2. I think I just heard about it, and I was like, whatever. And I think I might have started watching close when season 3 started coming out.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, actually.
But I've been a huge fan since then. We've had ups and downs. I'm not as in love with the show as I was. I think seasons 1 through 3 are amazing. Seasons 4 and 5, I plan on never watching again. And then season 6 was good.
For me, season 1, 2, and 3 were a lot of fun. The show didn't take itself too seriously, but it still tried to create a world, and the characters were all cool and everything. Then after season 4, everything got all... It took itself seriously, but it was still a little bit of fun.
Season 4 is the most unfun season. That's the season when it got super dark and gloomy, and they spent the whole season walking in the forest.
Yeah, but they made sure to keep the certain characters for the comedic effect, so they still kept the connection for season 1, 2, and 3. There's a character, Nora. No matter what happens to her, she's always like she doesn't even belong in the show anymore. She's just an anime character. Just break up the ice.
The tension.
Right. So
I think that's that's her worst character trait, and that's her only character trait. Is she's I think we're gonna get into season 7 in a minute. We're just gonna do a quick, our thoughts on the previous seasons. For me, I feel like the show is in the middle of an identity crisis. I feel like they started in one world, and they've moved away from that. And so in episode 1 of this current season, season 7, when you see the main characters walking around in Atlas, they don't belong there. They're these bright, colorful characters and these bright, colorful outfits with these bright, colorful personalities, and they're just in a dark world that's gray. People are just wearing bland, brown, regular clothes. And it's been like that for, I think, a few seasons, where it's just... they don't fit in their world anymore.
Yeah, but the show for seasons 1, 2, and 3, it was basically a slice of life, school life show, in terms of everything was being taken care of. Everything about the story happened inside the school, Beacon. So now that they're exploring outside the world, they're seeing not everything's as perfect or great as the school life was. So
I think for me, seasons 1, 2, and 3, when it comes to the whole anime versus cartoon debate, seasons 1, 2, and 3 are when they were most at they're at an anime, and then seasons 4 until now are they're a cartoon that are trying to be an anime.
I don't know if I would agree. I think the whole show... I think the anime became... the show became more anime. Because nowadays, animes just try to be more if anything, they're trying to be more like Gundam.
What? I think that's more Genlock. How is this show trying to be like Gundam?
Just the whole depressing world, the politics and everything.
It's not Gundam. It's
What? That's all Gundam is? You know what? Not the point.
The only show that does that.
Not the point. We're not talking about Gundam. But I think What cartoons can you think of that really does like what Rwby does?
Cartoon shows?
Yeah.
I think cartoon shows do it better, like Steven Universe.
If you okay, then we're done because there's no way you can compare Rwby to Steven Universe. I would say Ruby's more like I know you didn't watch it, but I'll give it to Code Geass. I'd give it to Gundam.
I would not give it to Code Geass.
Yeah, what a post-apocalyptic, well, not post-apocalyptic, but like a world where the government's all messed up, it's in shambles, there's rebellions and all that stuff.
What rebellion? The White Fang rebellion was like a back plot for like the first 4 seasons, and then just ended in like season 5. It's not really like it's not like that at all.
It didn't really. And when they finally kill, when they kill, what's the guy, the leader, Adam?
Last season. But even before then, like they built up the White Fang to be this whole thing, and then in the end, it was like, what's the great master plan of the White Fang? The leader and like 5 people go to a school, plant a bomb, and the police come and they just stop and they get arrested and they lose.
Well, you're downplaying it because they did have a plan, but the whole thing was to cause fear and everything. They got thwarted by the bad guys, which is normal.
It seemed like I felt like they were building it up the first few seasons, and then it just kind of ended with a whap whap.
Well, I mean, you have to build things up. What are they supposed to do? Just leave it linear?
Well, no, but like if you're gonna build it up, deliver. Yeah, like don't just make a whole organization just to end it with like the most street level gang thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I think what's cool about the show is it doesn't keep the same villain. Like it switches the villains Like, they didn't keep a villain more than, like, 2 seasons. Like, if anything, it was one villain.
Cinder was, like, Cinder's been main villain from season 1 to to this season. Salem...
Would you call her main villain now?
No, but the main villain is Salem now. It was like, oh, we thought Cinder was the main villain, and then it's just been Cinder since then. The main villain's been the same.
But even you said that you think now it's going to be Ironwood.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to be a villain. Well, you know what? We're
Anti-hero.
A couple minutes into the show. Let's start talking about it. So, episode 1 of season 7 starts out with the main characters, Team Rwby, Juniper, Ozpin, and Crow. They're aboard the stolen Atlas ship, and they finally made it to Atlas. They notice the whole place, the whole Armada's called, and I think it's like the first 5, maybe 7 minutes is basically them just in silence, taking in their surroundings.
Right.
So they land the ship, they start walking through the streets, they notice like a depressing atmosphere, really.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, Atlas is like, for the whole show, they were just talking about how great Atlas is. It's the greatest place on Earth, this and that. Like, it was like a utopia. But underneath Atlas were the slums. City. Right. So Atlas is a full city, and then underneath is the slums, where like the people who aren't as important.
Anyone is in the floating city in safety, and they left everyone else who's kind of just like the commoners behind to not fend for themselves, but to live amongst the grim, really. Which
I don't find anything wrong, because a world that just seems always perfect, like everything's all cheery and everything, it doesn't really, it's not real.
Well, I mean, the world.
They show that there's slums.
The world never pictured as perfect.
Right, but you're like saying that the world seems like they don't fit their environment. Like you said, they came to the slums.
Not that, like their character designs, like they don't look like they're from that world.
Well, they're not coming from that world. They were like visiting at that point.
Yeah, but every other city or country, kingdom, whatever you want to call them, they've been to, like it's like everyone else is kind of like that.
What do you mean, like?
Well, color-wise, like remember, what's it called? The Faunus Kingdom, Menagerie.
Mm.
Like that was a kingdom of colorful people, obviously with all the animal traits, but like multicolored hair, outfits, even what was where Jean's sister was.
If you're gonna ask me names, that's not my fault.
Anyway, every other kingdom, every part they've been to, has been pretty. It's been pretty like Rwby-ish, like Vale. This is the first season where it's like, I guess they're trying to go for that dark gritty.
Yeah, but it's not like
okay. I think the problem is they're actively trying to be undercover.
Mm-hmm.
They stole a ship, illegally landed in the middle of the city, and they're sneaking around. And how no one finds them within the first second of like, who are these colorful people here, is beyond me.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. Like the slums don't seem very Rwby-like, but it's not like they're staying there. Because in that same episode, because their whole thing was we need to get to Atlas, the floating city. but we can't get there, so we're gonna go to the slums. Then they get to the slums. Then they get arrested. Next episode, they're in Atlas.
Well, it was
so they're already back.
Skipping really far ahead with the episode 1. So they land. They're roaming around. You can see early on, at least, that remember the robot, like almost the drone, Spots Yang.
And she kicks it.
Yeah, she kicks it. Yeah, that's a good. I like that. It shows her personality. It was kind of funny, like how everyone looks back at it and she kind of shrugs it off. Then you have the drunk people. The 2 drunk people, one sitting on the stoop, one like just walking around, stumbling, I should say. They comment about General Ironwood, like the embargo that's going on, Atlas, how Atlas should leave all the other countries, the other kingdoms by themselves to suffer. And then he makes a comment at Blake. And then Weiss, what does she? She uses her dust to send him flying.
Yeah, he sent him blasting. But I don't.
Which is always a good sign, kids. When you want to fight racism, beat it up. And then run away when the police come.
But isn't that like a normal thing for like when it comes to like slums and everything? Like, oh, you know, they're forgotten by the government, this and that. Like,
well,
they try to tug you. Huh?
He was defending his government.
What are you talking about? Wasn't he like talking bad about General Ironwood?
Yeah, but he was also talking about how good Atlas is. Because his whole thing was, remember he was talking about like all the kingdoms should be grateful to us.
Oh.
Yeah, so it seemed like they're mad at Ironwood, but they still love Atlas. So after that, they go to...
some inventor's place.
What?
The inventor.
I think his name is Pietro? I think his name. We find out he is crippled from the waist down, and he has a pretty...
That wasn't his main character.
No. He has a huge, almost crab-like wheelchair.
I don't know. For anyone who's been in the podcast from the beginning, if you know Will, big mech guy. I gotta say, that episode, he focused mostly on that.
Oh, yeah.
He made fan theories about what the chair is gonna do and if it's gonna transform.
I'm a huge mech guy. And I don't care if you are, if anyone else is, you look at those crab legs in that wheelchair, that is 100% going to transform into a bodysuit form, a mech suit.
If you talk about that episode with him, you'll see just disappointment in his eyes and just hatred. And then once it gets to that, you tell me that's not going to turn into a
not hatred. I thought for a season, a new season, the first episode, I thought it was a little boring for the first couple minutes. I get they're trying to paint the picture, but it was just like, I don't think there was like really any music in the background. It was a little bit boring.
Truthfully, I feel like that whole episode was just to set up one character, but that's towards the end of the episode, so we'll get there.
But so we have the future Gundam pilot, and I can't wait. His whole so he's an Atlas scientist, or like the Atlas scientist, and then he has a shop.
He likes to keep low key.
Yeah.
So he's slumming it.
Low key and like a 6-foot wheelchair with that robotic leg that no one else in this world has, by the way. Like we've never seen any other person who's crippled at all in any way, and it was like, whoa, is this like what they all are like? We don't even know.
In his defense, it's not like his chair is just always on jacked up 4 legs, Dr. Octopus type stuff. It can get small. Like when they first introduced him, he's behind a desk, and we didn't know. It's not until he walks out then he gets all high.
It was probably charging. There was a charger behind that we didn't see.
It's not confirmed, but I'm just saying. It's just...
So they meet him. He made, I forgot what the old woman's, who's Ruby's mentor, the silver-eyed woman. I don't remember what her name is. But he made her eyes, and while they're talking, he made Yang's arm. And then he said he heard about Team Rwby from someone. And right before he says who he heard about them from...
He had said, oh, my daughter talks about you. So
he didn't say daughter, did he?
Yeah, he said daughter.
Okay. And at this point, anyone who's been a fan of this show knows almost who his daughter is. Did you know?
No, I was just...
What? You didn't know?
I kind of just... Because the guy's dark skinned, so, you know, you assume he's, like, black or something. So I was, like, thinking, like, all the black characters. So I didn't really guess Penny, but I guess I was, like, slow. So wait, when you hear...
spoilers, Gene. Yeah, it's Penny. So it's Penny. We find out later in the episode it's Penny.
Oops.
What does skin color matter? She's a robot.
Well, when he said daughter, I thought, like, biological, not like I made him. Her.
So they're there, and before he's able to tell everyone that Penny's his daughter, the siren goes off. That means the Grimm's attacking. And then you also kind of see how the people who don't live in the floating city live. They're constantly, apparently it seems like constantly attacked by
the Grimm.
And we do see new Grimm, like Saber-Tooth Grimm. I thought they're pretty cool.
I didn't think much of it.
They didn't stand out, but it was like you saw them like, oh, it's a cool Grimm son. So Grimm are attacking. There's really, like, you see a few of the Atlas Knights, which are the robot, the Paladin. No, I think they actually might be called Atlas Paladins.
Which it looks like they're practically useless.
Yeah, there was only like 2 or 3 there. But they were, I mean, on their defense, there were quite a few Grimm fighting them.
For that whole slum area, I can see why they're depressed. They were left to die.
Yeah, and also, I think, as far as we can see, they're the only kingdom that looks like where the ground doesn't have any walls. Like, did you see any walls?
No, they had no protection.
Yeah, that's a little... You'd think Atlas would have, like, built, like... Because I think the other kingdoms, the whole thing is that Vale, like, they all have walls. So they didn't have walls, so they're being attacked by Grimm. Then you get a fight montage, really, where all the characters kind of just, they all get, like, their little showcase while they're fighting. And by the way, at this point, we have to mention the animation for this show. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, you watch season 1, episode 1 up until now, and it is just animation constantly getting better.
You can see that they're really up in everything with the animations and the choreography. Yeah. It looks really good. Like, I'll give them that. But well, they had that in like the middle seasons 4 and 5. They switched choreography from like fast paced to more slow, which I wasn't crazy about. But they kind of sped it back up again. Like, I like how it's more like fast, kind of rough. I know they take a lot of time to do it because we don't really get that much fight scenes, really, do we? Because they did it. There was an open in episode 1 and everything.
Few, but I think we get a few. We get like once, maybe like 2-3 episodes.
Right. So I can tell that they put their time and effort in there. So
it's a very dialogue.
I give them credit for that.
So they're fighting, and then the big reveal, like a beam of laser comes down, wipes out a few Grimm, and we get Penny's return. Now Penny's been gone since season, like the later episodes of season 3.
Yeah.
When Pyrrha ripped her apart. And we really had no idea whether... We knew eventually she was going to come back. But I think, especially knowing that we were going to Atlas, where she was made, you kind of assume, like, okay, we're probably going to get something with her.
Again, I'm a fan of the show. I did not know Penny was coming back.
Oh, well, I
didn't think about it.
And I was very surprised that this is episode 1. Like, this is when we got her. Like, what did you think of her return?
I watched it and I was like... I was never a fan of Penny from the beginning. I thought she was just... She was really annoying. I thought she was really,
quirky.
really... I guess I just don't like quirky. I just thought it was annoying. And you know what? True to character, she came back just as annoying. But as annoying as I think she is, she did come back pretty strong, having her catchphrase and just... She was just back to her whole quirky self. That I know I'm going to be sick of, but it looks like she's being a lot quieter.
Did she say both her catchphrases, salutations, and I'm combat ready?
No, just salutations.
Okay. Are you sure? I thought she said I'm combat ready when she went back to fight.
Fight where? Because she's like, oh, I got a call, I got to go.
Yeah, I thought that she said I'm... Okay, maybe that was
just... Just salutations.
I might have just heard it in my head. I was really excited. But, so I'm excited to see her, but I was kind of hoping that her big return would be eventually, like, a big moment. Like, it wasn't a big moment, I guess, but I was kind of... I wasn't expecting it. I guess they could get me in that, like, surprise. I was not expecting them to just jump right into Penny's return. But that's how the first episode ends.
And while I was watching episode 1, I was like, I get it. They could have saved Penny for a more important scene, just let it... Like, save her for a better time. But I feel like they created their opening, and they were like, well, we can't not show her because we have her in the opening, so we'll add her at the beginning. Because she really did seem rushed in. Like, she was just like, okay, we gotta go add her in. Because they could have just left it completely to Rwby. They could have taken care of it, backed up, defeat all the Grimm and everything. But they just put her in because it was like, well, they're gonna see her in the opening, so everyone's gonna know she's coming. At least that's how I feel.
So that's how the episode ended. And, the episode ended with the new opening, which I wasn't crazy about. I liked last season's song a lot better than this one. But I think the opening... The intro, the video, that's pretty good.
For me, they've all sound the same. They were all...
Everyone's there. You see a few new characters. I think the only characters you really don't see are... You see Salem, you see all the villains except for Kira. I'm sorry, except for Cinder, Neo, and I think... Do we see the strong guy?
No, he didn't show.
Hazel. Okay, we don't see Hazel.
At the end of the other season, when they defeated him, he got arrested, right?
No. I thought he escaped.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And the first episode ends with so Penny leaves, and then Atlas special police force comes from and pretty much arrests them.
The Aesops, I think.
Yeah, they come and arrest them, and that's how the season ends. The first episode ends.
After that episode ended, then they showed the opening.
Yeah.
And they showed the new character design and everything. We saw the character design before the show started.
Yeah, how do you feel about those?
My only problems... Don't like Blake's short hair. Don't like John's haircut.
Oh.
I think that's my only complaint. I like Penny's new hair. Rwby didn't seem like she changed way too much.
Like her hair got like spiky, not spiky. Like people say she looks a lot like Crow, like ruffled. I like Ruby's look. I like Kylie's look. I like Blake's look. I don't mind it. Like she has her mom's haircut. It's like okay, cool. Her outfit's alright. What else? I don't like that Weiss. Like she just looks like they ripped off Saber from the Fate series.
I don't see it.
Oh, I see. She looked the outfit, the hair. It looks so much like Saber. Yang's is the most boring. Like I feel like nothing really changed.
Exactly. So.
Oh yeah, and then Ren looks alright. Ren and Nora look good. John's haircut it's pretty bad.
It's so bad.
It's the most bland, generic. He looks like Cardin. It's bad. I'm a huge John fan. I relate to him because he's that one character in the show that kind of started out not perfect. Like he got to work the way he got. But oh my god, as soon as he gets that haircut, I'm like they can't write him out of the show fast enough for me. I can't. Every time I look at that, I'm like I don't know if I can watch him talk. It's just so upsetting. I think Crow changes. Oh, cool. The biggest character change is handsome Ironwood with that beard.
Yeah,
everyone loves him.
In addition to how they're showing, how the world got hit after the fall of Beacon and everything, General Ironwood, who was like this general, clean cut and everything, he went into I wouldn't even know what to call it, but he grew a whole beard and everything.
They kept talking about throughout the show that he looked tired, and I'm like, really? He just grew an awesome beard. He has one line under each eye, but I'm not sure if he always had those. So I'm like, he just looks like he had a beard to me.
I wouldn't say it was an awesome beard, but it looks.
It was a pretty good beard. Come on.
It looks like a beard of someone who gave up on life.
Don't deny that was an amazing beard. I don't like that.
It's good, but it doesn't look kept. It doesn't look clean.
Exactly. Out of his stoic, clean-shaven appearance, a little fight still in there. I dig the beard. I'm cool with it. I think it makes him look. I think he's like. I'm trying to think of one of the only characters I could think of who has a beard in the show.
Because Crow just has a 5 o'clock shadow.
There's a few older characters. Like usually people who have beards in this show are old.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leonardo, who is the teacher from the headmaster of Haven.
Right.
He's really and other old people. I can't think of other main characters. Not even main characters, but characters who are young who have just fully grown beards.
Yeah, it's a clean shaven kind of show.
Well, usually everyone in this show, you're either really old or really attractive. There's no middle people. No one's fat. No one's young and fat, I should say. If you're young in this universe, you are just in perfect physical condition.
Yeah, that's what I call fan service. I mean, for the girls, anyway.
Well, for both. I guess, Kylie's mom is... Kylie's hot. Glinda's cool, too. But, so that's end of season 1. I thought it was an okay episode. Wasn't crazy about it.
End of episode 1.
Yeah. Wasn't crazy about it. A little boring in the beginning, but I think it ended strong. So now we're getting episode 2 that just aired.
Yeah, we just watched it not even an hour ago.
Yeah, about an hour ago. And so this episode starts up. They've been arrested. There's a character. So they're all talking on the ship, and then some third party, some new character we've never seen before, just starts talking. He was apparently arrested with them. He's an activist.
Yeah, he was just a protester.
Yeah.
He, what they say, he just threw a brick at the
He threw a
truck.
brick at the plane.
Will thinks he's gonna be someone important.
Not that important,
but like he's gonna be reoccurring.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna have little moments like he did in this episode.
They have too many of those characters. That's Nora's whole characters. It's like little moments, and they're terrible. I don't want little moments characters. The show has way too many characters as is, and they just keep pumping more in, and the amount of like story building that each of these characters getting is like diminishing. Like I can't think of anyone who's done anything in the past couple of episodes, including in the last season, who's really, besides I'd say Blake and Yang, who really evolved as characters. Like it's just like quick shots from everyone making comments. It's too much. So I don't want this character to I can feel it. I know he's going to be a new character.
To piggyback on what you're saying, I agree. Like, I was watching this episode, and it just seemed like they really put a lot of them as background. Like, they're just standing there. Like, they're just giving each other looks, and then, like, looking back, and then that's
I think Ren has said one word in these past 2 episodes. Jean has maybe said 1 or 2 words. Even Blake, I don't think I've said it. Like, the only people who've talked are Rwby, Weiss, Nora, Oscar, and Crow. Everyone else is kind of just, they have like a little comment here and there to remind us that they're still a character.
I feel like they're spending a lot of time on like world building or just like setting the stage for something. So
and a lot of exposition as well.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, this season seems like it's going to be really slow, but it wants to build up to something big.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with like the way episode season 4 I thought was really slow for the wrong part. Because it was slow, boring. This is slow, but also like a lot's happening, like a lot's going on while it's slow. So this whole episode was basically almost took place in what's his name?
Atlas.
Yeah, no, but what's his name? Ironwood's office. Yeah. So the whole episode takes place in his office. It's him, Penny, and Weiss's older sister Winter. They're talking, and so we find out that he informed them and the team that arrested them about Salem. And he's also looking for the relics.
Right. So his whole new plan right now, and the reason he called everyone back was he's going to tell everyone about Salem.
Yeah. So Amity Arena from season 3, which is where the tournament took place, he wants to turn that into basically the world's like first satellite. Like they're going to put it in high orbit, and that's going to be the new CCT tower. And so it's basically they're building a satellite.
I'm not sure what are they. They don't know if they explain exactly what it's gonna be doing.
It's a CCT. It's a CCT tower, which is.
So it's gonna be like Big Brother, like watching.
No.
Just...
Don't you remember CCT towers are like basically their landlines. Like that's how they communicate to people. Each major kingdom has one CCT. I keep messing it up. Each kingdom has one CCC tower, and that's how all the schools, communications, phone calls, that's how all that works. So they're going to build, but they, obviously the one in Vale, I think it was just the one in Vale, was destroyed. So they're going to make this one on the Amity Arena. They're going to put it in high, I think they said high orbit, or high atmosphere.
Right.
And it's going to be, like, connect all the countries. So it's the first satellite.
Okay.
I guess it's important, but it's... I like that. It's interesting, like, you know, it's something interesting. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's cool.
Really? I didn't find anything interesting about it. I don't know what the point of building it up.
I know. I'm hoping there's going to be a laser on it.
Yeah, most likely. Because it seems like Iron was just scared. Like, he's being all cautious and everything. Yeah. And...
So he's going to tell everyone in the world about Salem. And this is when... I had a little problems with this one. Because I get both sides' point of views, and I kind of side with Ironwood. Like I don't like. It's like, okay, you're gonna tell people there's gonna be panic. Like yeah, there's gonna be panic. That's what we're preparing for it. But in the end, I think it's worth it to fight back Salem, and you could clearly tell Rwby. No one else really in the group spoke up, but Rwby was like, oh, okay, and then she started lying to him about certain things.
Yeah, I didn't... It was...
About the relic.
Yeah, he started lying, but I don't know if I agree with Ironwood. Because it's like one of those things, like if you tell... But he recalled all his troops to Atlas to protect just Atlas. So it really is just everyone's got to fight for themselves. But...
Well, in their defense, they're the only kingdom without walls.
Without what?
Walls.
But that whole area in the sky wasn't like heavily defended. Like they said, like if we go anywhere near that, we're gonna be shot
Well, yeah,
down.
they're defending, not the people on the ground.
It really seems like they don't care about the people on the ground.
Well, they do. They have soldiers there, and I think they cared.
That whole thing. Well, if you're watching it, you just see that Ironwood seems like he's got some ulterior motive. Definitely does.
Oh yeah.
And I think the whole telling everyone about Salem and everything will cause. I don't understand how that helps fight Salem to let everyone know.
I think it's just a unified front against her. Like, you're more prepared to fight her.
But you don't need to tell all the people. You just need to tell the leaders of all the,
yeah, I guess.
the kingdoms.
I guess.
That, hey, let's put an army together and then fight her. But even then, they should know, like, she's immortal. Like, I don't think even an army, like...
Well, I'd beat her henchmen and maybe eventually capture her.
Because the whole thing for the whole show wasn't like, hey, collect all the relics and then they could beat her? Like...
No, I think it's collect all the relics and just keep them hidden. I don't really know what they're doing. I don't think they're trying to beat her. I think they're just trying to keep her away from this stuff.
Last season got really, like, depressing because they got to a point where they were just like, yeah, you can't beat her. And then they were just down. Then they had that Tidy episode, but that was last season. Yeah. But it's all going up on YouTube.
They don't really know what their goal is. It's just to keep all the relics away from Salem.
And did they explain what she's going to do with them?
I think she wants to kill the gods still.
Edgy,
yeah. So there's this weird thing where Ironwood explains his plan, and then he talks about the relic of knowledge, and then Rwby speaks up about how, it was used before we got it. She didn't share any of the information that Salem can't be beaten. So Ironwood is still under the assumption that Salem can be killed.
Really? I thought he just assumed. I thought he knew. Because who told him about Salem?
Ozpin.
That's true, because Ozpin didn't tell them that she couldn't be beat either.
Yeah.
They had to drag it out of her. Drag it out of him.
So I could see from his point of view, where he's like, yeah, maybe we can defeat her. But I don't understand why Rwby kept that from him. Like, what was that going to do if he knew that? Like, I guess we should all kill ourselves then? Like,
No, because I think last season when they heard about that, they got really demoralized, and then they just like felt down. They were just like, what's the point? Like they were about to give up.
He already seemed demoralized.
Yeah, so I think it was just like, okay, let's not kick him while he's already down. Let's let him still let's not give up. Yeah. Like let's not give him a reason to give up.
You could definitely see, I think, that this season he's not going to be the main villain, but he's definitely going to be an obstacle in their way. Like when there's an episode. So after they're done talking, he talks to Crow and he hugs him. And you could tell that obviously it's not something he's ever done before. Crow was kind of awkward felt that was awkward. And the hug was way too long. He definitely planted
It was awkward for all of us.
Yeah, but he definitely planted something on him, like a listening device. I think that's how he's going to find out about Salem. Or something that they're hiding from him. I don't know. Then the rest of the episode, like that's the majority of the episode. Like that's like 90% of it. The rest of it is like 3 minutes maybe at most of
walking around looking.
Penny showing them the school that had no children in it, just empty hallways everywhere, even the dormitories.
I think after the whole Fall Beacon thing, that wasn't like, okay, everyone come back home.
No.
Wasn't like all schools like shut down or whatever.
No, because when they went to the one that Leonardo was in, not Mistral, might have been Mistral, or so.
The names are.
Yeah, the one that Leonardo was in charge of. I think that school was empty because I think they were on break or something. But then that was months from where I think we were on the current timeline. So I don't know why the school's empty. Okay, really. But then we meet the team that arrested them. ASOPs, probably we think. And I don't know. I don't like them. I don't like. Not that I don't love all of them, but I don't like that they're more characters.
It does look like they added more colorful characters,
yeah.
Which fits to the show. You'll have to admit, for all of the stuff that you keep saying that don't fit in the Rwby world, they fit.
I guess their character designs were interesting.
Over the top, definitely.
Oh, definitely over the top. But I'm like, more characters we're gonna spend time with. And I guess eventually they're gonna be like the team that works for Ironwood. That's kind of like their main. Like, who's he gonna be feuding with?
Yeah, so it does sound like it'll probably gear up to like a fight between Team Rwby
and them. By the way, guys, I know you probably hear a rumbling noise. It's the helicopter. Don't worry, we're not being attacked or anything.
Doxed.
It's gone now. But and then finally, the last scene of the last part of the episode was you see not Hazel, Watts, one of Salem's henchmen, walking through the street, and we get to see his super cool, amazing power of being a hacker.
That whole scene just reminded me of the video game Watch Dogs.
I felt like there should have been a funny song playing in the background.
That would have been completely opposite because he was walking around the slums. He was basically where the kids were episode 1, right? Was that where?
Maybe. We haven't really seen Atlas, like the city on the clouds. So maybe...
No, the city in the cloud. Did you see that? The whole place was white. It was all chrome.
Yeah, I guess.
You know that SpongeBob episode where Squidward went to the future? It's a chrome. That was it. That was basically what the whole Atlas was.
Yeah, they're probably he was probably in the lower area. So he's walked through the streets. He's just walking, not paying attention. He has an umbrella, and on the umbrella is a button. And every time he pushes the button, like his electronic stuff around him, like stops. So like a car is about to hit him because he just walks in the middle of the road, and he clicks the button, and guardrails shoot out of the ground and stop the car. And it was, I loved it because it was so hilarious. Like it really needed funny music.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always hated that in cartoons when the character had like
he needed
one.
A strut. He needed to be like shaking his shoulders back and forth. He needed a strut to walk at that.
My small thing I hated was I hate it when there's like one button that just does everything. That always bothered me ever since I was a kid.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, how does it know what to do? I liked it. I loved it. So he's talking on the phone. I didn't know who it was. I don't know. Like the villains I feel for Salem are so generic. You have the Hulk, you have a typical English evil person, and you have the Joker. They're so one-dimensional.
You can't trust the English.
Yeah, so when he's talking to someone, like he's talking to, I don't know who he's talking to. It's a voice. It's definitely one of the other two people. I don't really care. And then you find out that it was, what's his name?
Yeah, not me.
Okay, I just said his name too. Anyway, so you see him. He's walking out of a building, and he walks away, and then you see blood on the floor, like starting to pool. So we can assume that he killed someone. Who? We don't know. I don't think it's ever going to pop up again. I think it was just
I think it won't matter.
Yeah, I think it's like, look how evil he is. He killed someone. I mean, it's basically, that was the extent of that scene. So they're also in Atlas, I guess you should say.
Yeah, they're in that area. But does Rwby show blood? Is it the first time? I don't know if I ever... They don't usually show blood, right?
I think they've shown blood before. They usually don't show, like, someone getting shot and blood starts spewing everywhere. It's mostly just like...
Oh, a cut or something?
Yeah, something like that. So that's the end of the first 2 episodes. Episode 2 aired today.
Overall, watching the show, I want to see where it goes. But at the same time, I'm expecting the season to end with, okay, they got over this hurdle, but the main problem wasn't beaten. But the show is gorgeous. It looks really good. Like, they spent a lot of time on animation. You'll see sometimes, because in this last episode, you point out to me, like, for Winter, they kind of, like, just had her walking kind of weird, but... Yeah,
this episode, there were some animation spots that I was kind of little... And it was both of them were Winter. They were just, like, she moved weird. Like, her head was bobbling too fast, I felt, and at one point when she turned around, she, sank to her knees a little bit and then stood back up straight.
Yeah, it's like they added her last minute. Like, she wasn't supposed to be there.
But besides that, though, the animation, it really was just those 2 scenes. Like, I feel like it was nitpicking really to even point them out. But it was just those. It's really good animation.
When you see something looks so good, then you have to notice, like, the little imperfections. So that's pretty much it.
If anything, it's a compliment. So I like the second episode, I think, more than the first one. I like the dialogue. Not the dialogue. The dialogue was meh. I like just the world building that was going on, the character reasons of like what people have been doing. I'm cautious to see how they treat Ironwood and how that storyline goes, because I don't like with Ozpin what they did last season, where it was like this person acted in totally rational reasons for everything he was doing, and we're like these irrational kids running off our emotions. So I'm a little worried about that. Like, they were speaking out about stuff in this episode, and I was like, yeah, but you're not really, like, thinking about why he's doing it. You're just kind of like, that's wrong, because I feel it's wrong. So I hope we don't go down that route again.
Yeah, I said my piece. So far, I'm just gonna watch the show, see where it goes. It's not like I'm waiting every week for an episode, but I'll see what happens. If it gets hype, then it gets hype. If not, then it's just another show.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Unlike you, I do look forward to each week. I really like the show. I have problems with it, but I mean, I think it's getting way better. I think 4 and 5 of this series low points. Season 6 was pretty good, and I'm interested to see where season 7 goes. My only concern is that just too many characters juggle.
I think for season 6, you're blinded by that one episode where they were all really tired.
It was like 3 episodes. Oh, I loved the apathy episodes. That was a great story. I think that might have been the high point of Rwby for me.
He's blinded by those 3 episodes. So I don't think his...
It was a good season. The train stuff was good. The stuff in, I don't remember the city's name. We're not good with names here. The city where they fought the little old woman who lived in the shoe. The general.
I don't remember that.
Her! That's her fairy tale she's based off of.
I'm not into fairy tales either, so...
I'm not into it. I have to know these fairy tales just for the show now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. We're not gonna do every week. We'll probably just do every couple weeks recap.
We probably might do it maybe towards the middle of the season or maybe at the end, but it's not gonna be a regular podcast. Even then, this one's supposed to be like 10 minutes. Yeah.
So I think that's all for now. All right then, and we
are out.